Welcome back to Angels and Bob's Factorio, and today we're going to be looking at a few problems. First of all, I lost pretty much the entire episode's footage of me explaining how I changed our Rubyite system. So Rubyite over here, which is a very trivial setup, is now going into a relatively straightforward system, and I'll just explain it briefly. The reason why I lost the footage, well, I didn't lose it, I still have it, it works. Unfortunately, it's got that cropping problem again I had a few episodes ago. What's basically happening... I'll find out what's happening. Essentially, I have two programs, one called DxTory, another one called OBS. DxTory captures Factorio just fine and compresses it into 1080p. I'm playing at 2560 by 1440. And then OBS also has a separate layer that it uses to capture any full screen window. Unfortunately, then it's capturing 1440p, turning it into 1080p, but by not rescaling, it just basically takes the top left 1080p. So you lose the rest of the actual thing. So I thought, no, I'm not going to have you seeing that. I don't want that to happen again. So figured it out, sorted it out. So we've now got Rubyite coming in here. So I'll have to prepare a different episode, which is what I'm doing now. Unfortunately, this is the same day it's released. So I've got to hurry up a little bit and make sure we get lots of stuff done. So to start, I'm going to just explain this, yeah. So we've got Rubyite coming in into regular sorter. That's coming out, bringing lead over here. And the reason why I needed lots of lead is I had a shortage in batteries over where our bots are built. And there's something else we need lead for. Sorry, we need batteries for as well. Blue Science, yeah. Over where both of them built, they were just consuming all the batteries and just waiting for more and more batteries. That was a shortage of lead, so we're processing lead ore in here through casting machines, bringing it out here and then back around. So before I had a couple of things making solder plates down there. Instead of doing all of that now, the solder plates made here near the lead factory, and that is feeding back into our system, which is going to solder, which is going to our circuit manufactory, and that's going to have to change fairly soon, the whole circuit manufactory, because we're going to need another tier of circuits. However, this episode, we need to deal with a shortage of something a little bit more basic. Coal. There's lots of coal here. Lots of coal on this belt. Oh, and by the way, the lead just goes up here and then up to the top and into the battery manufacturer right up there. I've got a couple of chemical plant Mark IIs making that up. So that's a 30-minute episode compressed into 2 minutes 44. Aside from an explanation of 1080p and 4040p recording. So, yes, coal. Coal is a bit of an issue. It's over here. You'll notice there's a lot of empty ground here. That was filled with mining, electric miners. Now I'm down to barely this much. That's not a lot. Specifically when a lot of it is being fed into our machinery, back around and coming back out as carbon, which is powering a lot of other processes. So the first thing I did is upgrade our steam engines. So our steam engines can produce more power. They're up to Mark IIs now. So if we look at steam engines, the Mark I consumes 30 fluid per second and outputs 900 kilowatts. The steam engine Mark IIs consumes 36, so an extra 20%, but outputs 1.6 megawatts. So 900 to 1.6 megawatts, obviously much better. Similarly to our C block, I also started putting down some solar panels of the large kind. They don't really output all that much power. If we have a look here, it's a tiny amount of power. 7 of them, well, it's just coming online now because it's just coming daytime. But the performance is something like 106 kilowatts each. And there's 7 of them, so, 742 kilowatts or something. And compared to 17 megawatts of what we're actually using, we have plenty of ability to scale up. However, the more we scale up, the more carbon we use, the more coal we use, and we get the same problem. We don't have any kind of renewable power source. And if you imagine these 106 kilowatts, each of those is 1.6. So that would be 16 of these, and that's only during the day. So you need 32 of these plus some way of storing the energy for one of those steam engines. So you can see the actual problem doing that. So that's why we want coal. So what I did is I made a couple of radar Mark IIs. I hadn't put any radar until, let's see, there goes another one. Oh no, another one. So we need to go and sort out a coal situation. Let's have a look. So I put in a couple of radar towers. They're going to go and explore stuff. You can see where our solar panels are there. So you zoom out here, you can see it's gradually making this square bigger and bigger. So here's where I manually explored the actual uneven edges. And there's not much coal on this map, to be honest, or at least not much coal that you can easily see. There's rubyite there, some bobmonium, some more bobmonium, some saphirite, some ores we haven't got to yet, like crotinium. Other things we haven't got to yet, thermal water. All looks good, and it's exploring this way, even though I've already explored it. But it's working on it. It'll eventually even out. But down here, just a tiny amount down here, we have what looks like infinite coal. I assume that's infinite coal in the middle. So we may be able to get a rail line running right through that gap right there over to here. So that, again, probably brings up a good point about getting our rail line. So if you can bring our sort of terminal at this end down here somewhere and feed the output of that straight into the same system we're already using, that will be helpful. And then we can start to get rid of these electric miners as and when we can, well, as and when this supply dries up. So the other thing I was doing, or at least at the end of the episode, was making modular armor. We can get that up to a certain point. Exoskeleton equipment I've just got. However, exoskeleton legs to make me walk faster needs electronic logic boards, and they look like the regular kind of vanilla logic boards, you know, the circuit boards, green circuits. They're not. This is Angels and Bobs. That they are so not the same. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So electronic, you can't even get to them in here. There we go. It's one of the products. So electronic logic board takes solder, basic electronic components and transistors. All well and good. We've seen those before. No problem. Integrated electronics and superior circuit boards. We have not seen either of those before. So let's look at integrated electronics. That needs sulfuric acid and other things we've done before. That's reasonable. There's nothing wrong there. Superior circuit boards, on the other hand, needs fiberglass and gold. And we've not done either of those. Fiberglass is reasonable. Gold is not. Gold has to go through molten gold, has to go through gold ingots. And now we've got a choice of how we get to gold ingots. Either gold cathodes. No, we're not going that way. So gold ore and chlorine. Chlorine we can make from saline water. So I guess that's probably reasonable. Or salt. We get some sodium out of it. Yeah, reasonable. Gold ore, on the other hand, well, there's no good source of gold ore. By good, I mean easy. Easy for me is good. We can get some out of rubyite chunks. So we could further process rubyite, you know, from crushed rubyite and purified water into rubyite chunks. And we can get a little bit out of that. So that might be what we have to do to start, I think. Because the other methods are getting to gold. Mineral sludge, we could do that as well. Get a little bit out. And then it starts to get a little bit odd. So crotinium crystals, we get some out of that. Remember, we saw that crotinium up there, so we're not doing anything else with it. So we could do that. But to do that, you have to go through crotinium. Crotinium chunks with hydrochloric acid, which has got its own issues. Crotinium chunks, crushed crotinium, and then you got all these other products as well, chloric wastewater. So there's probably a huge amount of stuff to get that started. So to get started, we may have to go for our boring, but works quite well, mineral sludge or rubyite chunks. And that is a whole new circuit setup that we need to think about. However, before we do that, we can probably go and take a look at a train station. We're going to have to build a couple more of these, and we've got various other improvements now to, you know, our inserters, and that may well help us when we're building trains. So I might want to update a blueprint of what we have up here, and obviously build a new train, and then that should be ideally faster. It should be simpler than this in that we're only shipping in coal, so we don't need a huge amount of stuff. Depends how many miners we can get at the other end. So we're probably going to want some warehouses, some inserters, and we could probably even change this now because these are hopelessly outdated. We've got fast inserters and we can do those reasonably well. So, you know, we could even have a coal train that is ridiculously overpowered, or just, you know, just a single carriage and a double ender, that kind of thing. That would work. But I'm probably going to stick to standard size. So standard size being probably 4 carriages and 2 engines on either end. Sorry, 1 engine on either end, I should say. So that will work perfectly well, I think. and then we'll get that for coal. So we should probably lay that out. I think I'm going to lay it out manually. I don't want to use this particular blueprint just yet. It's full of all kind of stuff we're dealing with ore. So let's go and get to that on the terminal side, and then we can go to the depot side just by basically duplicating that and making sure I have lots of electric mining drills at hand. One of the disadvantages of sorting out that lead situation well, I said last episode, it's the episode you haven't seen because of the cropping issue. I'm just going to do this before I get to the train station, is this setup here, which is producing lots of lead, but it was doing so by using up this mineral sludge, and we need that for our main iron production. So I've turned off all of these for now. We'll probably change them over to gold fairly soon, because that's what we're going to need for those circuits. However, in the meantime, that then goes up this way, across here, up here, and up to the top, where it should hit our mineral catalyst factories, which should be producing that much faster. Yeah, that's nicely faster than I was expecting. And they're producing them on both sides of the belt. So hopefully this over here will actually be producing enough now to get iron ore going again, at least properly. Are these still full? They are pretty much still full. Good. And we've also got Givelite up here as well. We can use that again, reprocess that into other things. That's not quite full, but you get the idea. These are now going as they should be. Fine, so I've been handcrafting some locomotives, if only because I don't have an excess of engine units to craft. And now that I've fixed batteries, you see lots of batteries now? Yeah, now I've got a different shortage in electric engine units. And that is a little bit troublesome. If we pop down here, you'll see why. It's just sort of one of those setups that I created thinking, yeah, we wouldn't need so many of these electric energy units. If I hover over that, you'll see we've got 238 logistic and 607 construction bots. I might think about just actually cancelling the construction bot factory for now. At least, where are you? You are over here. Are you the construction bots? You are. So if we just cancel that for now, this in fact, what we could do is just make sure it's there, construction bot, but just remove that. That should solve the problem. Yeah. Okay, so that will make sure it just continues to make logistics bots, and I don't have to worry about anything else. Here's my setup for electric engine units. That's got a shortage of engine units, which has got a shortage of steel. And what was it I just did? Yeah, steel. So the steel coming in here, but that's the tail end of everything. So we've got to wait for it all to pass through the system. You'll see it starting to back up again now with the iron. So yeah, we've got to deal with that. So onward to the train station. Okay, so we're going to go on to large amount of storage for coal. And I think we're going to buffer it at this end. Well, maybe at both ends. It depends on how fast the train is. So if we think about our station being here, I could make it further out. We'll move it later if we need to, but if we have it here, you know, it's close enough to this to get started. So maybe if you have it sort of online with these steam engines, so sort of here, and this side, of course, we will then have inserters like that. And we can power those with a decent power pole, but I'll put one of those there for now. And just put that across just so it's got some power so the flashing doesn't annoy everyone. Oh, that's even more annoying. Fine. I'll put two in place. So yeah, we'll have coal going in here and probably some more other places as well. So we're going to want a train stop. And that's, it's going to be... I don't know, it depends how far up here we go. We could put another one here. Depends where we go. Let's start with a rail then. Let's just lay the rail out. And we can start... We can always change it later, can't we? Oops. Let's rotate it. And then just drag it this way. Okay, that gives us a start. Then we can put our train stop wherever we like. We got to consider where the locomotive is going to go, etc. So that's the locomotive there. So this is going to be our sort of last approach, I guess. Oops, need to get closer. There we go. And then we don't need anything else. We need that piece, but that's about it. We can then feed in to here. Am I one too far away? Oh, that's annoying. That's really going to annoy me. In fact, I'm going to have to take that apart. Sorry. It has to be done. In fact, I'll do it off camera. One sec. It's not one too far away. It's just that the rail takes up more room. Okay, fine. Let's put it down and get that done, and then we'll just have to move the inserters. I'll change their inserters so that they do something like this. Yeah, so that will work. No problems. And another couple there with another power pole. That's not a power pole. That's a train stop. And you're going to go there. That will work. Once I actually get a power pole. Where are all my power poles? I thought I made some. Let's make some mediums, shall we? And let's actually change this to the medium ones. Medium power poles. Ooh, what are you? Rail to power connector. Connect your power rail to the power grid. Powered rail. I actually like that idea. Although that may well be something that is not something we don't have yet. That's the usual problem. Poles. Yeah, let's have this be medium electric poles, shall we? And then just use those as standard from now on. That'll keep everyone much happier. And we can probably maybe connect these with one now. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. All right, so we've got a train stop, and let's just rename this. Why don't we? It starts out being called Bramble. Let's call it, I don't know, coal terminal for now. And it can be red, that's no problem. I'll then run under a similar terminal at the other end, and then let's see if we can lace stuff out. We're going to need, do we actually have those rails, those power rails? No, we don't, of course. We're going to have to run regular power poles out there, so we're probably going to want some of the big electric poles to get that to go long distance. I'm not going to need a double rail for this one, you know, left and right and stuff like that. Again, we can just go one stop, and let's stop that flashing. We can just go stop to stop. We don't have to worry about junctions or anything like that, at least not yet, unless you want to send this coal somewhere else. Remember that nice, easy to access coal patch on the map? This one right here? Lots of coal in it? It's in a forest. Remember that nice little gap? This one? It's filled with trees. You can see I've been cutting a little line through it, hopefully a little bit on the video. But I think I need grenades. I think I need lots of grenades. Grenades? I can actually build some because I've got some coal on me. That's the usual approach. And I'll try and wait for daytime, and then we'll see what this looks like then. And there you go. You can see it's got an impassable cliff on one side, and we have got some infinite coal in the middle. Of course, that'll be more complex to harvest, and that will also mean that when we try and put one of these down on it, maybe it won't have much of a good thing. Can we actually extract that? Or we're going to need a fluid input. Saying it's okay. But of course, after we get power down here, larger problems may occur. Let's just get those down, and I have 7 left. That should be more than enough to cover this patch, I would have thought. Yeah. And 2, and well, maybe I need a couple more, but that'll be fine. So if we have that patch, we'll have a belt that runs out this way. And then we'll need a train station of some kind here. And then we've just got boulders and boulders all over the place. We could go around to about, well, we need to go back across where I am now. This kind of area going that way. So yes, we can clear by this method. It does make nice, pretty little holes in the tree sort of landscape. But it's not going to be terribly easy to get that all done. I think I need to go back and get more grenades, and then we'll clear a path with those, and hopefully then make room for the rail. And much forest clearing later, we now have a functioning train stop. Essentially, well, we need to maybe clear a little bit more trees, but nothing substantial here. What we're going to do on this end is make sure that we have, first of all, I'm going to run this one by the train track, and we're going to want to make sure that we have that running right by the locomotive on both ends, because we're going to be refueling from this stop. Now let's send it this way. There we go, and then we can send the other stuff and merge it in. Sort of a natural merge rather than anything else. There we go. And all that coal should then be loaded into a warehouse, which I should have on me somewhere. Yep. Yeah, in fact, we're going to want to refuel it both sides. Let's actually just take this out. Oops. Not. Yeah, take the trees out. Not necessarily the train stop. And let's make sure we buffer before we get to this. But we're going to direct insert that buffer onto the train itself. I don't want to necessarily have it anywhere else, so I'm going to put the buffer down. So let's remove these trees. So if we have a buffer here for this particular train carriage, we're going to want some to be refueled for the train and some for the track. So I think I'm just going to go underground. That's probably the easiest thing to do here. Just go underground and then curve it back this way. And it doesn't matter if we have extra on this belt. Incredibly annoying to clear these trees, by the way. I should have kept nanobots. They would have done the job just fine, but it'll do. In fact, I'm going to need to go underground again there. And that tree is clearing. And that one. There we go. And that's the last one, I think. So that should be fine. And then we're going to just split this off, I think. If I can make a splitter. I can. In fact, yeah, we're just going to load the rest straight into here. So let's grab a loader. Got one already. Not sure why it switches around like that. Can change it, but that's not the direction I wanted it in. There we go. So I want this to split to favour the right hand side. So it always keeps the feeder for the train ready. And then we can put the train in itself. Now, so we want a locomotive going this way. Then we want the wagons. Do I have more than one? I think I have two. Yeah. I'm going to make it to 4, but for now I'll just put this in place so that we can get it going. There we go. It's taking some coal out of my inventory, so I should be able to get back to the base rather quickly now. We have all that set up. So now all we need to do is send this train on its way. I think I'm going to configure it when I get back to the base. However, before I do that, we need to load it up. Give it some power. Those are too slow. Let's make some faster ones. There we go. Okay, so that's the first carriage filled, and we'll be able to do the same thing. I'll just change this to be a balancer set up to more warehouses whenever we need them. In the meantime, let's go and get in. And can we just choose this? Oops. I need to back this into this stop. Let's get out and configure this. 1 second. Okay, it's now set with the correct name. It was set to a rail depot before. No, it needs to be train stop coal depot. There we are, we're at coal depot. And if you're wondering why all these little jaggy lines are here, that's the impassable terrain. You can see it sort of on the brownish colour on the map. Not great. I don't like it. As soon as we get high explosives, please remind me to remove it. I want straight rail lines. So let's get that going. We can just click on the locomotive and then change it to automatic. As long as we're in, we are. So it's going to wait 60 seconds and then it's going to head to the other end quite quickly, I would have thought. And we can obviously extend the train later. Good, let's head back to the base. And just in the nick of time, that one gave up the ghost, that electric mining drill. This one is about to. 925 coal left. These are all just a few thousand left, nothing major. However, we do have this warehouse now that's filling up with coal, and let's just fill that in there. 2 of these are filling on the near side of the belt, 2 on the far side of the belt. Keeps everything quite nice. And now, of course, everything is relinked together, so that is looking pretty nice. I think I like that. So let me just remove all of this, and then we can tell our handy robots, hopefully not to destroy anything too much of a problem there. Let's just get rid of all of you. That will do. Robots will handle it, and probably can get rid of this as well. Wow, just so much coal all gone. Anyway, we got a new source, which is good. Got everything we need. So that's pretty much it for this episode. We're just explaining the lead that we need. Next episode, we're going to have to get into those electronic logic boards. They're also blocking my power armor as well as everything else. So I've just got some power stuff in here, but I have no exoskeleton legs at the moment. That'll take that space. And even the higher tiers of armor will actually take us there. So if I go to, let's say, power armor. Whoops, fingers. Power armor 3. That takes electronic logic boards and Mark IIs and aluminium and Invar. We may be able to make Invar, but it also means we have to go through speed modules and efficiency module 3 and power armor 2. So power armor 2 takes those electronic logic boards and speed modules and efficiency modules. So as you can see, what we've been heading towards with the last few episodes with the various modules from the module labs. Now we need to do electronic logic boards next, and then we'll get into better power armor, and of course the next tier of technology needs that logic board. So everything is pretty good. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know it's been a sort of fairly ordinary episode, not getting into too much new stuff, but just building out the base. I think I also want to be able to have a railway system with, you know, junctions and logistic train network. I actually just did research on. I don't think is there much else to research in train? No. The other thing we can also look into is coal processing. So we can process wood pulp and wood into charcoal. Charcoal can then go up into coal, and you can get it that way as well with a renewable source, but it will take a lot of infrastructure to get there. So for now, I can just research the starting point there, and that's another source if we ever lose the coal down there. There is infinite ores down there, but I think that may need some other infrastructure, but we'll look at that next time maybe, or at least start with logic boards. So feel free to like, subscribe and share if you haven't already, or leave comments. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong. More than happy to hear about it. And of course, we'll see you next time. And as always, thanks for watching.